Hello everyone. So this is section 1.6. It's a bunch of different things about angles. The first thing, complementary angles add to 90. Okay, supplementary, they're going to add to 180. So complementary, they add to 90. Supplementary, they add to 180. So for example, let's say we know this is a 90-degree angle. Let's call this A, B, C. I'll put another one in here, D. Okay, so angle ABD is complementary to angle DBC because together they make up a 90-degree angle, so they add up to 90. So sometimes you might actually see numbers in there. Just for example, let's say this one was 50, this one was 40. Okay, so you can see those two together would add up to 90. For supplementary, usually what you're going to see is something like this, like a straight line, because remember a straight angle is 180. So let's call this A, B, C, and D. Okay, so for example, angle ACD, so this angle here, ACD, is supplementary to angle DCB. So together the two of them add up to 180. So again, you might see actual numbers in there, you might not. If you were to see actual numbers, I'll just make them up. I can't say for sure what these would be, but let's just say, for example, 40 and 140. So 140 plus 40 adds up to 180, and so those are called supplementary. Okay, these are also called adjacent angles. Two angles that are right next to each other and they share a vertex, those are called adjacent. So adjacent basically just means right next to each other. So adjacent angles share a vertex. Okay, so for example, this angle here is adjacent. I don't know what the degrees would be, but those two are called adjacent. They would share this vertex right here. Okay, so they're basically just right next to each other. And then we have vertical angles. And this one, I'll just show you a picture. It's kind of hard to describe in words. So they sort of point at each other. Okay, so let's call this 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a little easier. So angle 1 and angle 3 are vertical angles. Okay, so you see how they're kind of across from each other? They kind of point at each other. And so the same thing would be true with 2 and 4. All right? So 2 and 4 are across from each other and they point at each other. And the thing that we know about vertical angles is they're actually congruent. So angle 1 would have the same measure as angle 3. And then angle 2 would have the same measure as angle 4. So vertical angles are congruent. Okay, so they're kind of across from each other, pointing at each other, and they're also congruent. Okay, and so let's look at another one like this. So let's say this was 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if I give you, let's say angle 1 is 30 degrees. Okay, so what do we know? Can we find angle 3? All right, well, we just said it should be the same. All right, so angle 3 should be 30. Can we find angle 2? Okay, any idea how we could find angle 2? Well, if you look at 1 and 2, 1 and 2, they're creating this straight line here. They're supplementary. And so angle 2, what I could do is I could go 180 minus 30 is 150. Right? Because angle 1 and angle 2 have to add up to 180. And then once I know 2, I would know angle 4 is the same. Because it's vertical, it's right across. Okay, so these are some of the things you're going to see in this section. Let me jump to the homework for a second and see. So let's see what's going on with this one. So this is just kind of a random problem. Use the diagram, determine if the statement's true or false. Angle 2 and angle 1 are supplementary. So 2 and 1, they create this straight line. The other way you could do it is you could just add the numbers. 111 plus 69 is 180. So that one is going to be true. Okay. So that's, again, just a random problem. Let me see if I can maybe pick another one. On this one, can you conclude that J is the same as D? Definitely, because they each just have the one mark. So if they each have one mark, they're congruent. C is the midpoint of JO. We cannot tell that because we don't know that the two segments are equal. Let me show you. So it's saying, is C the midpoint of JO? So down here. So they never told us anything about these segments here, like this one and this one. So the answer on this would be no. We don't know enough about that one. Okay, on this one, ACB is 60. Okay, so let me do this. ACB is 60. Can we find ECD? ECD. Okay, so we know this one here is 90. So this one's a little tricky. Oh boy, what did I do? We can see that since this one is 90, this one here is 90. And so this one is 60, which means this one right here has to be 30. Okay, so sometimes you have to piece these things together like this. Now you also know that angle ECB is 180. It's just a straight line, right? ECB. And so what we're looking for is ECD. Okay, so you basically take the 180, take away the 30, and you have 150 left over. Okay, so a couple things I didn't mention before. Just the wording. So like if you were to see a problem like this, find the complement of a 40-degree angle. So complement means they add to 90, and so the answer would just be 50. Okay? If it was the same problem but it said supplement, the supplement of a 40-degree angle, so they have to add to 180, so it would be 140. And one other thing I didn't mention, bisector. Basically, anytime you see bisector, it means it cuts something in half. So if you had an angle, let's say ABC, and a bisector, so a bisector cuts the angle right in half. So this angle would be the same as this angle. So for example, if the original angle was 60, then both of those would be 30. Okay, and so there's a little bit in the homework with that. Let me see here. Oh, this isn't working. Okay, so for example, GH bisects FGI. So we have FGI and GH bisects it. So basically that would be telling you 4x minus 1 equals 5x minus 7. So you just set those two together equal, and you should end up with x is 6. And then from there you can figure out the actual measure of each angle. Just put the 6 in for x there and down there. Okay, so that's how you would do something like that, as long as you know that it bisects. And let me just do one last one. So on this one, there's a few ways you could do this. Let's say we're trying to solve for x and y. So we know 11x plus 3 plus 7x minus 3 equals 180. These two add up to 180. So 18x equals 180, x equals 10. And then you could do the same thing with the y's. 2y minus 9 plus 2y plus 37 equals 180. I'll let you finish that one off. But basically that's how you could solve that one.